Welcome back, guys, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit, where last episode, with Shaun, Fenn, and Verity Cavell in the frame for Shi Long Lang's murder, we heard from the young actor about last night, which sent us down the path to discovering someone was inside the Taurosaurus costume on the scene, but Excelsius winner, not the dead body. Still needing forensics to prove that, and our theory that the chief prosecutor was dinging something up on the lot, causing the footprint's appearance, we next debunked any possible real monster activity to stop the reporters interjecting, before learning that the president had indeed not fallen from the big building, but had been crushed. But Shi Long Lang now stops our celebrations. What? Sure, I think we can accept that. The fallen head must have been what killed the president. But that begs the question of what could have caused it to fall. Or who? We know it happened late last night, so we have to think about who was here at that time.
Overruled.
What are you getting at exactly? You can't mean... I'm afraid I do. You did it, didn't you? Shaun. The kid's hiding something. He was right here last night, right where the body was found. He saw the footprints. And yet he wants us to believe he knows nothing about what happened? That's a big ask, surely.
Objection!
We haven't yet established if the footprints had anything to do with the murder. So even if he did see them, that doesn't mean he was involved.
Knuckle back!
Maybe not, but his face tells me different. As does the fact that he's shaking like a leaf. It does seem like Agent Lang might be onto something, but I don't think Shaun's going to talk. Fine, keep your mouth shut, kid. I have a better idea. Why don't we let your tape do the talking? What exactly are you planning, Agent Lang? The police have some pretty sophisticated image analysis tools these days. You would go to such extreme lengths to see my son convicted? It's not ideal, but if the boy won't talk, we don't have any other way of getting to the truth. Detective Gumshoe, you have access to exactly such a device, do you not? Sure do, little V. Good, and that should make this nice and quick. Mr. Edgeworth, might I request that it be you who carries out the analysis in question? Why me? I fear that Agent Lang might be inclined to believe the worst. Image analysis isn't exactly my specialty, but... Alright. Are there new clues to be discovered somewhere in the image, I wonder? I will zoom in. I'm like, well, if I zoom in on this bit, I'm not sure I'll really get anything. This is quite open. And this we've already really examined. Let's just examine this area over here and then bang, someone. No one. Someone. No one. Someone. No one. Someone. What? Wow. Zooming in can reveal ghosts.
Eureka!
What the? Yes, that's what I'm like. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Let me see. Let me see. Huh. Ah! What is it? What's the matter? Show me. Mr. Edgeworth, the court asks that you share your findings. Zoom in on the top right part of the image and look closely. There's a person there. It's the president. Oh my! What? You're kidding, right? Well, I'd say that's pretty decisive, wouldn't you? This doesn't look good for Shaun at all. Wait, this doesn't prove anything. I didn't know he was there. I don't believe you, and the image does in fact prove something very important. That you and the president were here at the scene of the crime together. Admit it, kid. You murdered President Wang. No, that's ridiculous. Why? Why would he? Shaun, you didn't. You can't have. Can you? What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? It's hard to push back against footage like that. Surely even you can't deny this looks pretty bad for the kid, Mr. Prosecutor. He claimed he knew nothing about what happened, but the president is right there with him. Shaun, What are you not telling us? We have to know. He's right, Shaun. Be honest now. It's the only way. The truth is, it was all my fault. Shaun, what did you... It was my fault the Torosaurus head fell off the trailer. What happened while I was rehearsing? I went up on the roof of the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there. I must have left it burning when I came back down to run my lines. Then my mum called, and I left the set to go talk to her. When I came back after the call, the Torosaurus head had fallen from the roof, and the president was just there lying next to it. No. We did find evidence of a fire having broken out up on the roof. It was just a tiny one, so I put it out myself. So we're saying the president died because of Shaun? If he did, that would make this whole thing just an accident. What did you do with the head after you found it on the ground? I took it apart, carried the pieces up to the roof, and put it back together again. You're saying you put out the fire and moved the head back to where it fell from? In other words, you tried to cover your tracks. You're a real piece of work, kid. It's not like I did any of this on purpose. I really did just forget to turn the heater off. Yes, and when the fire had burned through the legs, the table would have collapsed, and the head would have fallen down onto the ground below. You're right. The fire caused the head to fall. Indeed, and I also happen to have an idea about how the fire may have started. Those cans of paint thinner by the heater are pretty flammable. Not a great place to keep them. And you swear it was an accident? Seems a little convenient. What was the president even doing here in the first place? How the heck am I supposed to know? I didn't see anybody, I swear. I still don't believe you. Why would President Wang come to a place like this in the middle of the night? His reasons for coming here are something of a mystery, it's true. He met Judge Gavelle up on the roof 2 nights ago, but he was also here on the movie set last night. Did he come to meet Shaun? I think we'll need to go over the boy's statement very carefully indeed. I went up on the roof of the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there.
Hold it!
You're a fit and hardy young man, Shaun. It's spring now. Surely you didn't really need to fire up that stove. He is a fit and hardy young man who needs to look after himself.
Objection!
Really, Your Honor, but if he resorts to such measures even during warm weather... Seriously? You two are going to argue over something like that right now? He's right, of course. You've made your point, Shaun, but I've told you before to watch how you talk to people. I think he was criticizing you as much as he was me, Your Honor. Yes, Mum. Anyway, where was I? I must have left it burning when I came back down to run my lines.
Hold it!
You left it burning? You didn't think to check before you came back down to the lot? I meant to, but I was thinking about my lines and the scene and everything else. It's not my fault I forgot. Everybody forgets stuff. I sure do. So much stuff. I leave the air conditioner on in Mr. Edgeworth's office and the lights. I forget that he told me never to jump off the ladder on his bookshelves or make prank calls. But the one thing I would never ever forget to do is to turn off an unattended heater. Please, Shaun, go on. Edgeworth's like, She's a lot, huh? Anyway, as I was saying, then my mum called and I left the set to go talk to her.
Hold it!
It was the middle of the night and the set was deserted. Why did you need to leave in order to talk to your mother? I forgot I was supposed to talk to her. I got confused, I guess. I thought if I didn't leave, she'd find out I was out of the hotel at night on my own. That doesn't make sense. You know that, don't you? Fine, look, the camera was rolling and the mics were all live, okay? I didn't want our conversation on that tape where anybody could hear it. He was embarrassed about being recorded speaking on the phone to his mother. So I ditched the rehearsal and ran off set as quick as I could. When I came back after the call...
Hold it!
You pretended to your mother that you were back at the hotel during the call, correct? That's not... You said after. This is after. How come you couldn't tell her you were coming back to the set to practice your lines? Because she'd have phoned the hotel and asked them to send a car to get me or something.
Overruled.
Of course I would have. A child your age shouldn't be out on his own late at night. Anything could happen to you. Children really can't seem to see things from their parents' perspective, can they? It's true the other way around too, you know, Mr. Edgeworth. Alright, Shaun, can you tell us what happened when you came back after speaking to your mother? Huh? Oh, sure. So I came back and... the Torosaurus had fallen from the roof and...
Hold it!
Were there any signs that it was about to fall before you left? I don't remember. I was concentrating on my lines. But a fire had broken out on the roof because of the heater you forgot to turn off. Did you really hear nothing the entire time? No, I had my headphones on. Huh? Why? I was playing the soundtrack to the movie to help me concentrate, and I was playing it loud. So yeah, I definitely didn't hear anything. Except for the sound of your phone ringing when Judge Gavelle called you. You know that cell phone vibrate these days, right? Anyway. Got him. The president was just there lying next to it.
Hold it!
Did you notice anything unusual about the body? I don't know, it was dark. Totally did. He suddenly seems even more reticent than usual. I don't think he wants to go back over that memory any more than he has to, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm sure he doesn't, but is that really all it is? Should I push him a little more on this? I think you should. It was dark, but you knew it was a body nonetheless. He's hiding something. I better find out what. Most people would cry out for help if they saw somebody lying on the ground, and yet you didn't. Yeah, because what was the point? He was dead. So you said, what I'm interested in is how you were able to be so sure. Why were you certain that he was dead? He was lying on the ground and that huge head was right next to him. Didn't take much to figure out what must have happened.
Objection!
You couldn't have guessed that the impact would have killed him. How did you really know? I'll tell you how, because you checked. Fine, I checked, okay? I was scared, but yeah, I went up to the body and I looked, and he wasn't breathing. So I was right. But why try to hide that fact? There must be a reason. Could you tell me how the body looked at that point? I couldn't tell if he was dead at first. There was no blood or anything, so it was hard to be sure. Nothing on his clothes either. He was completely clean. But yeah, he wasn't breathing. So that's how I knew he was dead. Thank you. I'd like you to add that statement to your testimony if you don't mind. I didn't know he was dead at first. There was no body and nothing on his clothes either. Okay, I must be presenting something to here then. Probably this. Death was due to full-body contusions and bone breakages caused by extreme pressure from above. Flecks of yellow substance found stuck on clothing still undergoing analysis. It's probably this.
Objection!
Nothing on his clothes. Nothing at all? Yeah, nothing. Why? Is there a problem with that? There's something you're clearly hoping that we've forgotten. What are you talking about? There isn't. That's not true. Unluckily for you, we remember it rather well. I'm talking, of course, about the yellow speckles on the president's chest. You studiously avoided mentioning them throughout your testimony, an absence I find suspicious to say the least. I hope for your sake that you have a satisfactory explanation.
Overruled.
Thank you. Judge Gavelle. Allow me to explain. But... the yellow residue on the president's chest. I imagine it was from a bouquet of flowers. Lion lilies, to be precise. Lion lilies? 2 nights ago, when I met the president on the roof of the big building, I presented him with a bouquet. They're a type of lily with large yellow petals. I imagine that the substance on President Wang's chest was pollen from those flowers. But they're not there in the printout from the security camera. Only because the president is in the way. Why give him flowers? That is not something I am at liberty to divulge.
Not so fast!
What? More secrets? Are you serious? First you wouldn't tell us why you met with him, and now you can't even tell us about the flowers. My sincerest apologies, but all I can tell you is that I gave him the bouquet.
Objection!
A bouquet that was nowhere near the body when it was discovered. How do you explain that? I cannot. Seriously, Your Honor. Some things you won't explain, the rest you can. Come on, you've got to give us something here. You wouldn't let this fly in the courtroom. What makes you think we'll accept it? Hey, you leave her alone. Shaun! I threw the flowers away, okay? You did? So they were there when you first found the body? Yeah, they were right there on his chest. And they were squashed completely flat. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? They would have gotten crushed along with the president. And the pollen would have been smeared across his jacket front. That does explain things rather neatly. But why remove the bouquet and dispose of it? No reason. He's almost as evasive as his mother. More secrets. They're quite a pair.
Overruled!
There is no secret. I know exactly why Shaun disposed of the bouquet. Huh? You saw me leave the house with it, didn't you? Oh, I get it. When you saw the flowers on the president's body, you remembered seeing your mum with them. And felt the need to prevent her from coming under suspicion. No, you've got it all wrong. That's his least convincing lie yet. Bouquet data has been jotted down in my organizer. And so, President Wang's autopsy report has been updated. I often decorate our home with lion lilies. I imagine that's why he remembered.
Not so fast!
So the flowers his mother was carrying showed up on the president's body. And because of that, he got rid of the bouquet and kept quiet about having discovered the corpse. Ha! Well, that ties everything up nicely, doesn't it? A little too nicely for my taste. Why? What's wrong with nice? I guess you forgot, huh? The kid also told us he was responsible for the head falling in the first place. Yeah, he did, but... So he's still our only suspect.
Objection!
The finger of suspicion still seems to be pointing firmly in Shaun's direction. However... Wait. I can think of a far more likely culprit than the boy. What? Who? The person who was holding Shaun captive until only a short while ago. That's right, we had to rescue him from a warehouse refrigeration unit down by the harbour. A refrigeration unit in a depot. Yeah. Lucky it wasn't switched on. Poor kid might have frozen into a popsicle otherwise. He was doing his best to call out for help, which is how we found him. The sedatives had worn off by then, so he was wide awake and plenty loud. Sedatives? Isn't that what you were given too? Yep, we found the bottle on the floor of the unit. It was even the same brand. Freezies. Apparently it's super strong. Okay, we're getting a lot of information all of a sudden. Used on both Kay and Shaun during their kidnapping. Brand name is Freezies. Zeds. Well, Agent Lang, surely that suggests that Shaun is a victim, not a suspect. But somebody else was responsible, and I think they've been behind all of this.
Not so fast!
Oh yeah, and this secret mastermind of yours was here last night too. That I can't yet say. It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor. Sadly, we just don't have anything to tie our mysterious kidnapper to the murder of the president. So is there anybody else? Somebody other than Shaun who could have committed the murder? I think it's putting us somewhere. Of course. So I was right. The kid is still our only suspect.
Objection!
Not quite. I can think of another. What? Somebody who we just recently proved was right here on the movie set last night. Chairman Winner. You think he killed President Wang? Why not? We've proven that he was present. And if he was here, he's as viable a suspect as anybody else. Wouldn't you say? Winner. Could he really have... It's certainly another possibility to consider. 12 years ago, he was... Huh? That number again. Look, a lot happened, okay? This was all 12 years ago or more. My father and the president being friends, our family being the ones who kept him safe. Lang? Like the Lang from 12 years ago? Yep, good to see that you're finally about to pay for your crimes. Even if it did take a while for you to get what was coming to you. Agent Lang, what happened 12 years ago? It's nothing to do with you. I think it has everything to do with me. It's clearly connected to this
Not
case.
so fast!
Yeah, and you can prove that, can you? Go ahead, show me some proof that what happened 12 years ago has anything to do with this. Proof. If you can't prove it, this conversation's over. Does any of the evidence we've collected show a link between recent events and those of 12 years ago? That's 18 years ago. Anything up? So you do your bit too and retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago. I'm sure it's still right in front of the planter where we left it. 12 years ago. Probably this.
Take that!
It's wrong! Oh no, it's right. The music didn't instantly stop. This is a report about Bronco Knight. It was sent to Chairman Winner by Warden Lagarde. This last part in particular should be of interest to you. Retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago, in front of the planter. And that's not all. Take a look at this. This letter was sent to Rosie Ringer, the victim of a murder that happened the night before last. We don't know who sent it, but it does say this. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. What? But... I didn't remember that. Something strange is going on, Agent Lang. Miss Ringer was murdered the night before last and President Wang not long afterward. There's a connection between the two murders. There has to be. And I believe we can trace that connection to events 12 years in the past. Am I wrong? These are all wounds you're opening here. Insults to my family name. Please, Agent Lang, we need to know. Who on earth was that? Shifu! Huh? What are you all doing here? We came to find you, sir. We heard you were looking into the incident from 12 years ago. Idiots! I'm not your boss anymore. Get back to your duties right now. We can't do that, sir. What? You're disobeying a direct order. Please, sir, I'm begging you. We all are. You have to reopen the investigation into the SS-5 incident. We know you can't let it go until you've figured out what happened, and we can't either. Well, Agent Lang, it seems your former underlings, who are also triplets, want the events of the past explained too. You think it's that easy? That you could solve the case just like that? I think we can. Together. Ha! Well, alright then. Offer accepted. Yes, Shifu, Shifu, Shifu! Shifu! Nice, then I guess it's my turn to step up. I'm sorry, Kay. You're looking into a case from the past, right? I just happen to have something that'll help with that. Ah, you mean Mr. Thief? Sure do. If you can give me the details of the incident, I can rustle up a little simulation for you. Sadly, we don't have the files relating to the case. Huh? How come? Access to those files is restricted. They're top secret. Really? Why? Beats me. Somebody must have something to hide. Even I've never seen them. Everything I know I read in newspaper articles from the time. That's fine. Just tell us what you can. Alright. The SS-5 incident happened on a winter's day 12 years ago. February 10th to be precise. Your police received a call directly from the kidnapper. I've got the president of Zheng Fa. So he was kidnapped. Yeah, SS-5 is the official designation of the president's kidnapping case. The kidnapper wanted $100 million.
$100 million? How much money even is that?
More than you can imagine, it seems. The last person to see the president that night was my father. They were together at the embassy of Zheng Fa until midnight on the 10th. Nobody knows what happened with the president after that until he was kidnapped. Our government did everything they could to scrape together the money. They were desperate to save him. And in the end, they succeeded. The money was handed over and the president came home safely.
So President Wang was head honcho even back then. Wow, go Mr. President!
Yeah, the length of time he stayed in power isn't even close to the most impressive thing about him. Agent Lang was clearly very fond of President Wang. I assume the kidnapping was thoroughly investigated. It was, but the investigation was top secret, as was the trial. The trial? So a suspect was arrested? Yeah, none other than our friend, Fifi Lagarde. What? Is that why you visited the prison? It is. I was put on what you might call extended leave from Interpol. So I thought I'd use the time to look into what happened 12 years back. And I wanted to see who I was dealing with.
She was found not guilty then, wasn't she?
Yeah. My father was in charge of the president's security at the time, but they held him responsible for the kidnapping and stripped him of his duties as presidential bodyguard. He stayed on the force though, and he worked the case alone, until eventually he found a suspect. Lagarde. And if he thought she did it, there's no way she was innocent. But they declared her not guilty, and the case went cold. My father couldn't take it. He was broken, mentally and physically. Finally, he quit the force altogether. So he had solid grounds to suspect Warden Lagarde. He must have had evidence. He wouldn't have charged her otherwise. But I've never been able to see the materials from the case. I'm sorry, but that's all I know.
What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? This is useful information, but I don't think it's enough for Little Thief to recreate the scene.
Is there really nothing we can do? You look like you could use a hand. Who's this now?
Ah, Fender and Francisca!
The F Squad? Francisca!
I'm Mr. Fender!
We'll call them F-Bomb. That's their duo name. We finally wrapped things up over at the courthouse. We thought we'd see what you kids were up to.
Here.
What's this? It says SS-5 Incident Investigation Report. Well, everything we need.
When Fifi Lagarde mentioned an incident from 12 years ago earlier, I couldn't help but wonder. So I decided to look into it, and this was what Interpol provided.
Nice work, Francisca.
Don't get the wrong idea, Miles Edgeworth. You're no longer a prosecutor. I didn't do this for you. I did it so that a colleague could solve his father's final case.
I owe you, sis. But everything related to the SS-5 incident was supposed to be top secret.
Yes, but that classification was applied by the prosecutor in charge of the case. Excelsius Winner.
He was the prosecutor in charge? Him again!
Don't worry. Due to the outcome of this morning's case, he's been stripped of his authority. An outcome that was in no small part thanks to the efforts of his own son.
Eustace. So in defeating his father, he made the old case file available to us. It sounds like we owe him.
Prosecutor Eustace Winner is busy wrapping things up after the conclusion of the Lagarde trial. But he asked me to give you a message. Leave Dad and Lagarde. I'm sorry, do it. Leave Dad and Lagarde to me. It's Francisca's impression. You focus on your case over there. He's even starting to sound like a prosecutor. Not really. Indeed he is. All right. Now that we have the case file, I can recreate the scene no problem. Excellent. Let's get started. According to the file, the incident occurred exactly where the plaza is now. And what are we waiting for? With me, everybody. Do you actually have Little Thief? I randomly thought that had gone. Well, we've moved over to the plaza yet again to check some stuff out here, there, and everywhere. But I feel before we use Little Thief, this is a good opportunity to, of course, end another episode of Ace Attorney Investigations and get ready for the revelations of the next. Small things done, more doubt added to the scene overall, a mastermind that we are trying to hunt, a case from 12 years ago that we're trying to solve. All this and more, we get more to the bottom too next time. Of course, we won't actually get really to the bottom two next time, but still, you know what I mean. Little pieces of the puzzle have to fall into place. I will see you next time for more. And until then, I say, bye-bye.